this is it. I believe we are rolling. This is official here. This is episode, wait for it now, 350.
What up?
What? 350 episodes.
Halfway to 700.
You know what they say, halfway to 700, then you've made it.
That's right. I've heard that about many things.
That's right. This is No Laugh Track Podcast. This is Justin Severson, the host. We're at Acme. Of course, it's a Thursday afternoon. I am here with a return guest. One of my favorites, Chris Porter, is here.
Oh, you say that to all the ladies.
The ladies.
The hilarities.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little over a year since you were here. I will refresh people's memories. Once you were at episode 178 at one point. That was way back in December of 2015.
Wow.
285.
You know what had just happened in December 2015? Kansas City Royals had just won the World Series. It was a good year.
Best year of your life.
It was one of them.
Best sports year of your life.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Then we fast forwarded to next time you were here was 285, and that was in February of last year.
Okay.
It was Valentine's Day week.
Oh, I'm a weird act for Valentine's Day. Very rarely are my jokes about being in a relationship, so.
Right.
I'm sure I ruined some evenings.
And then here we are at the end of August in 2019.
350.
350.
Back on that even tip.
That's right. Summer's wrapping up. Kids going back to school.
I'm so happy about that. The airports are starting to clear out.
You notice a difference?
Oh, man. As soon as summer hits, it turns into fucking amateur hour at LAX. Just like all these parents and kids that never travel and just don't know how it goes. And
my wife and I drove past MSP about a week or so ago, and there are all these planes going overhead. You can see the parking lot, how busy it is, the park and ride and whatnot. And we've, both of us have only lived in Minnesota.
Okay.
You know how the seasons are here.
Yes.
We have
They're rigid.
3 or 4 nice ones in the summer, and then it's the rest of the year. So we're driving by, my wife's like, why do people leave this state in the summer? She was like getting mad. Where are they going?
It's the only time that it's actually fun here. Yeah.
Where are they going? Enjoy it. This is all we have.
Yeah, no, it's but I also live in Hollywood, California, which is very touristy.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's hard to get home.
Sure.
Or out of home.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Remind me, how long have you lived in California?
Since 2005.
2005.
I think it's 14 years this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before that, where was it?
Kansas City.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I've only lived in 2 places.
Only 2
I
places.
lived in Kansas City and then I moved to LA. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long ago. Los Angeles is a lot of fun, and you're never bored.
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't feel like 14 years.
Was there ever a chance you were going to be a New York guy?
Yeah, I went and checked it out. When I left Kansas City, it's definitely, you got to pick one or the other. It's like in high school where you got to pick French or Spanish.
I fucked that one up.
Oh, I did too. I picked French like an idiot.
Ditto.
I don't know why I thought that was going to get me laid.
God, no. Because at one point someone told you it was a romance language.
Oh, yeah.
And
so
the chicks were going to like you for learning
bars, just fucking je parle français. And they'll be like, get the fuck away from me, dude.
Exactly.
El Dudo. So went to New York in I wanted to go to New York in the worst time. Because I'm like, I want to see it when it's at its worst. So, you don't want to go there in spring and it's beautiful. You're like, yeah, we got to move to New York. And then summer hits and you're like, I fucking hate this place. Right. Went in January, had a lot of fun, and I still feel this way about New York. Love it. Have a lot of fun when I'm there. I don't think I could live there without making serious amounts of money. Like 2 commas worth of money.
Sure.
Before I would ever move to New York.
I've been listening to Chad Daniels and Cy Amundsen do a podcast now.
Okay.
Highly recommended. Very good.
All right.
And in one of the recent ones, Cy mentioned about how I had no idea, he once tried out for SNL.
Oh.
And so now I'm going to start asking people, do you have an SNL?
No.
Was that ever a dream? Did you ever?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, no, not really. It's just, I don't do characters. I don't do characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of tough. And it's never was really an avenue that interested me. I don't like writing sketches. I like writing parodies of commercials and stuff. So that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Interested me, but yeah, for the most part, it was never anything that I was like, I would never. That's not a vehicle that would allow me to shine, I don't think.
I see. We talked very briefly before we started here, and you said you got a couple things going on this afternoon. Gonna do some working out.
Yeah,
and
CrossFit.
And
gotta
also
get that in.
And also some work and audition for something.
Yeah, you got to self-tape a lot now, which is, with the phones. And it's fine. It's a little awkward, but it's no more awkward than going into some office and doing an audition.
With a stranger.
So, yeah. And you also get to do 1,000 takes of it.
And no one knows but you.
So, yeah. So, and I almost got it done before I came here. It just wasn't like the take where I was like in the moment and having fun. I usually fucked up the lines. So you got to nail it down.
And this is for an acting gig?
Yeah.
What kind of history do you have?
I have 0.
What's your connection with acting?
I'm over with auditions.
Yeah. But why not?
But they keep sending them to me. Yeah. I mean, it's like a lottery, but with some bit of skill involved.
Sure.
So, you just keep doing it. I've done a few acting things that I did an audition for that they just gave. Like, I'm in Steve Burns' new movie that's coming out.
Oh, what's that?
It's some movie about, it's got Dr. Ken from Hangover and Jimmy O. Yang, who's Jin Yang from Silicon Valley.
He'll be here soon at Acme.
And they play young comics coming up in the scene, and I just have a little bit part that, honestly, I didn't think was going to make the final cut, and according to everyone, I'm still in it. So
as yourself?
No, I play a hacky guitar comic.
Okay.
So I kind of went for it. Like, I'm wearing the backwards hat and a sleeveless shirt. And
nice.
I look like I'm just coked out of my mind for the most part. Yeah, it was a good time. But it was when we shot it, my call time was 11 a.m. I actually hit set at 11 p.m. And then everyone else had shot their scene like 3 times. I shot my scene once, and they're like, yeah, that's good. And I just walked out like, well, at least I got paid for the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that made the cut. And
you weren't walking out of there like, nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I had a good time with it, but I was like, usually they have you do another one just for coverage.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't. They were like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, okay.
Let's let him do it. We'll have him do another one just to make it feel better.
Fucking one-take wonder Porter over here.
Been known as that forever.
Yeah, right. Well, just with the ladies.
Hi-yo. How much music are you doing these days? We've talked about that in the past.
Yeah, very little. I'm on the road 40 to 44 weekends a year, so it's tough to get anything going, really. The last thing musical I did was I was in Atlanta, and I recorded a track with some folks that live down there and some like real musicians and stuff, and that was fun. Didn't go anywhere, but we had a good time. We might do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the first thing I do when I get home is grab my guitar and a coffee and just have at it.
Okay.
And I almost brought it here just because it was a longer week, but I don't need to call attention to myself at the hotel. You know what I'm saying? I'm already doing enough nefarious things in there. I don't need to be audible about it.
Remind me, are you self-taught? Did someone teach you, or?
For the most part, self-taught. You definitely pick up lessons along the way. My Uncle Jeff taught me a whole bunch. But yeah, it's once you get past the pain of, the calluses and making that happen, it's, especially with the internet now, it's pretty easy to just pick up a song and
sure.
Like, even if, like you can download what they call tabs, which are a very simplified way of reading guitar music.
Oh, okay.
And or you can just go. Most of the time, the way it works now is I come home drunk and I've just heard a song and I'm like, I gotta hear this. I gotta know this one. And so I'll bring up some YouTube video and just sit there hammered and strum my way through it, and I'll be terrible at it. But then I'll wake up the next day and remember it sober, and I'll be like, oh, this is way easier when you're not 9 tequilas in.
Is there a song that Chris Porter fans would be surprised that to find out that you love to play? Some real sappy one or corny one? Or?
Desperado.
Desperado.
I like that one.
Okay.
But that song is about guys like me. I mean, I always thought it was about a chick, but he kept referencing. There's that line in the first verse where he says, "Don't you draw the Queen of Diamonds, boy?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why would you call a girl a boy? And then you realize when you're 35 and you hear the song and you're alone in a hotel room, you're like, oh, No, he's talking about you, dumb shit.
How soon after that did the tears come?
Oh, fucking instantly. Like, I think it was dirt. I'm like, why am I sobbing? What? Oh, no, it's about me. I'm Desperado. Oh, shit, this is like the end of Fight Club. Oh, Christ.
Destroy all mirrors.
Destroy all. We have to destroy these buildings. So,
Oh,
that was a tough one. I know Hank William Jr. is...
Are you ready for some football?
No, Family Tradition.
Okay.
I know that one. I like that song.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I think Desperado, people are like, fucking really?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and even when I play it now, they're like, Desperado? I'm like, yeah, fuck you. It's about me. You don't know my struggle.
How about just the Eagles in general?
Here's the thing about the Eagles. I hated them for a long time.
Me too.
And then I watched the documentary about them, and it made me love them.
Me too. It changed my opinion a little bit.
Well, because you realize it's like, I think Don Henley says, he was like, we ended right about the time classic rock became a genre right about the time classic rock stations became a thing, the Eagles were ending. So, like, they go, yeah, it's not our fault. We were played way too much on the radio.
Yeah.
Years after we were done.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's not your fault. And then you go back and you're like, especially with like Desperado, I'm like, yeah, this song was played way too much. But if you were just digging through records at a record store and you pulled out this Eagles record and played it and you'd never heard it before, you'd be like, this is a fucking amazing record.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Don Henley. It's not your fault. and Already Gone is a good song. It really is. They're all really good tunes. But yeah, there's still some of them. Like, I don't need to hear Tequila Sunrise.
No. How about Dirty Laundry?
I think that's Henley.
That's a Henley solo. You're
that's
right.
Henley solo. I'm good on most Henley solo.
Okay.
But I respect the man. I respect the man. I think he owns half of Texas at this point. But no, yeah. Well, that was Don Henley busting in.
You just keeled over. How have the last 2 nights been here at Acme?
Really great, actually. I don't do a lot of Tuesdays anymore.
Well, from what I hear, who does really?
For sure. And I didn't even really. I mean, I guess in retrospect, listen, with Acme, I'm just happy to get an offer just because it's such a great club. I don't really pay it a lot of attention.
I'm starting Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it till it was too late.
Right.
But for Lewis, it's like, yeah, fine. Because I love this club. And I mean, I'm sure a million comics have said it, but it's just a very familial scene. Like, I know everybody. We're hanging out. It's also kind of, I don't know, this place is kind of like if you're hanging out at your super rich uncle's basement. You know what I'm saying? Where he's got the bar and then he's got this like club that people just hang out in.
Wait till you see the bar he put in.
Like if we're just hanging out at Uncle Lewis's rec room.
Yeah.
Which would be a terrible name, but closer to what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't mind. And it's really flying by. I was even thinking today, I'm like, oh, fuck, tomorrow's Friday. Like, oh, awesome. We're almost through this. And I get most of the next week in Los Angeles. I have to fly to Kansas City for one night to make good on a charity thing. But
okay.
I donate a show to my parents' church every year, and they auction it off. With the caveat, like, I'm going to do my club act.
That was going to be my question.
Like, it's not going to be clean. And the funny thing was, I offered it every year, and this year they kind of hem-hawed about it. And I was like, that's cool, but I happen to be in town for the auction itself.
Oh.
And it's I'm not part of the Catholic Church anymore, but this particular church I'm involved in just because I like the scene, and it's, it started in my great-grandparents' basement. Or living room, so I kind of feel a sense of loyalty to it.
Sure.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm half drunk, and this guy kind of sidles up next to me. He goes, hey, when's your show go up? And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I want to bid on your show, but I don't see it on the, menu or whatever it is, list of auction items.
Yeah.
I go, I told him I'd do it. They didn't want it. And he goes, well, if you get him to put it up, I'll bid on it. And we'll make sure it sells for whatever you want to sell it for. And I was like, as long as it sells, as long as the school gets $3,000 out of it, I think we're good. He's like, oh, that's easy. So I went up there drunk, Or I go tell my dad because he knows what to do, and the guy starts saying the things, and I just went up there and grabbed the mic from him. I go, listen, I'm going to curse, no kids, have fun, and gave him the mic back. And it sold for $3,700. And then another guy came up to me, and he was like, if I match it, will you do another one? So we sold 2.
Holy
School got $7,000 out of it.
Nice.
Because they pay for my flights, obviously. I'm all for churches, but I'm not losing money.
We got to be
on the
realistic.
deal. I'm not losing money on
Right.
the deal. So, but yeah, and so it's a great thing for the church, and it's it's fun for me. It's a reason to go home. I hang with my parents for a night.
Yeah.
But it's literally in between shows at the Bray Improv. I do Thursday night, and for whatever reason, I have Friday off, and then I think they have like a big name coming in.
Oh, okay.
And then so that Friday I fly to Kansas City and fly back Saturday and then do 2 shows Saturday night.
right on.
So yeah, it's going to be a weekend.
Could you possibly come up with some sort of religious jokes before that?
I mean, I could. I don't. You
just don't want to?
No, it's I make fun of the neighborhood and make fun of other things, and that's fine. But I mean, just as a general rule, I try not to make fun of politics or religion,
Right.
Especially in today's environment.
Uh-huh.
Also, I'm a 40-year-old white man. I don't really have a lot of leeway on those.
I've heard that.
Yeah, you got to stay in your zone.
I've heard that. And what you just said, I think, is sort of the idea behind your latest special that
A
is
Man from
on
Kansas.
Amazon.
Amazon Prime, iTunes, everywhere but Netflix and Hulu.
Yeah.
So you gotta dig a little for it.
Oh, not really.
Yeah, that was kind of I decided that about 2 months into writing that hour that I wasn't going to address those scenarios, mainly because I had seen on Instagram so many of my comic friends go into these red states and do their anti-Trump stuff and then wonder why people were getting upset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he's really popular there. It's like if you went to North Korea and made fun of Kim Jong-un.
Right.
Like, they're going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be seen again. So, and like, it occurred to me, I'm like, these people are coming to my shows to get away they're coming to all of our shows to get away from shit like that. Like, the world is so toxic and so gross right now that I want them to come in here and not have to worry about that shit for at least 60 minutes of my act. I don't control what the openers say. So if they touch on it, whatever. But you're not going to get that from me. I want you to come in here. I want you to have a good time, no matter what your views on politics are. I just want this to be a place of where we can all just have a good time. Unify, maybe not unify ourselves, but at least in this moment, be one.
I like how you said, we're just spending this little amount of time with each other. I'm not going to change anybody's beliefs.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's like, and I just see people, and I don't want to mention names, but I see comics go up there and they're just like, it's just all this anti-Trump shit. And it's like, man, you're not changing anyone's mind.
Right.
And they're all going to go home and they're just going to be like, fuck that liberal, and then some words that you probably shouldn't say on a podcast.
Pretty much.
And it's like, well, that's what did you expect was going to happen?
Yep.
And so, yeah, I just realized, and also most of my family is of that ilk. A lot of my family's Trump supporters, and when we hang out, we don't talk about that. And when we do, it gets heated. Mm-hmm. And because they're fucking idiots. But whatever. And they're saying the same shit about me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like when you're coming to a Chris Porter show, have a good time, man.
I watched it. A Man from Kansas.
Thank you.
Very funny.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I expected to laugh. I did laugh. Expected to enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
It's good to meet expectations.
Congratulations on that. And here's a crazy random connection in my life to that special.
Okay.
You bring up some app or something called Tackle?
Tackle. Yeah, Takl.
So I had not heard of that up until watching your special just recently. Although, I put two and two together. I've been seeing billboards that look like something that said Tackle. I didn't know what the fuck it said. It just had Kathy Lee Gifford's face on it. And then when I heard your special and you said tackle, I went immediately to Google and you, even in your special, you do the like TAKL. So I Googled that and Kathy Lee. I'm like, there it is.
There it is.
Now I have the connection in my head.
Well, you're
so
welcome.
Thank you for that very much.
It's a joke and a public service.
It absolutely is.
That's what we're here for.
It absolutely is. The other thing that I love from that I can very much relate to is you ripping on Luke Bryan.
Yeah, and that's become effective. I've had many people contact me on Instagram.
I saw one of them that you posted.
Yeah, I used to love Luke Bryan, and ever since your bit, I can't stand him. And sometimes you just got to slap people in the face and make them realize that they were in a trance of some sort.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, right, that shit is terrible.
Were you like a country music fan?
I
overall?
love country.
You do?
But
Okay.
not new country.
Right.
New country's garbage. It's the fucking... I don't even know what it is.
People always have exceptions. Is there an exception to you? Like, well, I hate new country except...
No, I mean,
This
because,
dude.
like, I love Jamie Johnson, but he's not new country. Yeah, there's no one of that genre that I can really get into.
No
It's
exception.
it's a very watered down version of it's just, and it's dumb. It's just real dumb. That whole Luke Bryan, all those guys, Keith Urban.
The only thing I like about Luke Bryan, I never was a country music fan. My wife worked at a country music station, an old-timey one, for a little while. So she had some very strong opinions about that. But one of my part-time jobs is working at, around the stadiums, and I've worked like 3 Luke Bryan concerts. So the only positive thing I can say about him is he sells a lot of tickets, and they drink a lot of alcohol.
Bud Light is the number 1 beer in the entire country.
It doesn't make it right.
It's fucking terrible.
Right?
Like I can't help the fact that people are just like, it's easy.
Yeah. I've sold so much Bud Light in my life.
And that's what a lot of people, and that's what a girl said on that same post that I posted. She goes, I like pop music because it's easy. I don't have to think about it. And that's the same way with Bud Light and all that shit. It doesn't taste great, but it's everywhere. And you don't have to think about it. Like, can I have a Bud Light? Yeah, because you're in America. When you get on, meanwhile, I'm going into a bar going, you don't have 1942?
Right.
And then I'm calling you an asshole. Like,
oh, Luke.
Like you have to admire. I genuinely admire that. Like, I wish in my weaker moments, I wish I had led that life.
What do you mean?
That suburban. I go to work. I married the girl I went to high school with. I live in the same school district I went to. Everything's great. The Tonight Show's recorded at 10:30 p.m. Disney World's the greatest place on earth.
Yes.
And P.F. Chang's is authentic Chinese food. Like, I want that. Sometimes I admire that level of naivete. Like, I wish sometimes that flying was still an amazing deal. Yeah. Or that staying in a hotel was exciting. Like, there's definitely, this life that I have is amazing, but it takes away the glitz and the glamour of a lot of things.
I can tell you, flying is still a treat for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy it nearly every time. Even
when I get upgraded, I could give 4 shits.
Wow.
I'm just like, oh, cool, I'll be able to, it's just a little bit bigger now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of my day-to-day life. So it's just how I get to work. And it's just like, I see people get on planes and they just have this look of amazement. They're like, we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
I never go anywhere. This is so great. And meanwhile, I'm in the seat going, I wish I wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
I wish,
I wish I was at home. They're leaving.
Yeah, you have no idea what you're living like. And so, I wish, you wish you had a house in suburbia and, a finished basement.
And that you went to a bar and just asked for a Bud Light and were satisfied.
And you were just the happiest dude on the face of the fucking planet.
Maybe every once in a while you got crazy and went Michelob Golden Draft Lights.
Right. But also, if I lived that life, there would always be that what if. That's one thing I don't have in my life now.
Isn't that great?
is that it's not like, what if I would have tried this or what if I would have tried that?
Yeah.
Like I am trying it, and it's going well. As a matter of fact, I'm at a point now where I can't stop. Like, I literally have no other employable skills.
One of the things you said the last time we recorded, I listened back to it, and you said that you like having something to look forward to.
Yeah.
What is that right now?
Just the next, and that's what's kind of cool is, like, our cycle never changes. It's like, okay, I just dropped a man from Kansas, so now I got to write whatever the fuck's coming next.
Yeah.
So, and then also, I have another year's worth of dates coming up, and a lot of the same people come to the same shows. So you want people to come and see a whole new show. So I'm always looking forward to the next hour.
Well, I can tell people that I have watched A Man from Kansas, and I have seen the set that you're doing this week at Acme.
Yeah.
There are no similarities.
No, I'm moving forward.
I didn't recognize one thing that I heard from the special.
I do old stuff at the end.
At the very end.
At the very end,
I recognize that.
And I learned that from Burke. I used to not do that at all. I used to be like, no, I just do the new stuff. And then Burt Kreischer and I were having lunch, and he was telling me, he was doing a noon show in Omaha, and I was there. And this was a few years ago before, like, he really blew up. Oh, yeah. And so he was still doing those call-in sick to work shows where he'd do it at like noon, and he'd sell out a noon show. And but he was like, oh, I have to do 13 minutes at the end of the machine. I was like, you don't have to do shit if you don't want to. And he was like, your fans have expectations. And he goes, if you went to see your favorite band and they didn't play their favorite song, you'd be mad. And I was like, yeah, but comedy's different. He goes, watch this. So they bring him up on stage. And he's like, he goes, before I get into the new stuff, how many of you have to hear the machine bit tonight by raise of hands? And half the people raised their hand. And Bert looked directly at me and goes, that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
And so from that point forward, I was like, oh, okay. So I went back and remembered and learned some old bits, and, it's just weird to go listen to yourself on Spotify. But I made myself 6 cents, so there you go. So yeah, and so I went back, and now at the end, I do a couple things. Usually someone will have requested something because I do a Q&A during the checks.
Yeah, I noticed you're still doing that.
Yeah, it only goes away when I'm like really finishing up the hour and I just genuinely don't have time for it.
Okay.
But I feel like it's a good. And, it's not something I do to stall for time. So, and there's definitely been shows where I'm like, anybody have any questions? No? All right, move the fuck on.
There's sometimes with zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But most of the time people ask a question that they think will just lead me in, like a morning DJ. Like, they're like, so what do you think about pickles? Yeah. Or
have you ever been to Taco Bell?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Yeah. So then you're like, okay, well then I'll do those bits at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I stole a thing from John Panette. It's not a bit, so I don't, and he's dead. So, but when I opened for John Panette, at the very end would go, I have some friends in from out of town that asked me to do an old joke that I don't do anymore, but I'd be more than happy to do it for you guys. And then he would do the killer whale buffet joke.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
There were no friends in town, but he knew everyone in the fucking show wanted to hear it. So he fucking did it. And he knew there was no organic way just to get into it. So I do that. I'm just like, I got friends in town want to hear some old bits. Here you go. And that's if no one's requested them. But yeah.
When I was doing radio, we would make up listener segment letters just to get a story out that needed like a good setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made up things that, somebody brought this up. No, it was our idea.
My sister gets paid to be a call-in person.
She's one of those people?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she makes like $40 a phone call or something.
Yeah.
And she says it's awful, but because a lot of DJs, they like have very specific expectations of what they want.
Oh, I definitely believe that's awful.
And my sister's like, that's not funny, right? Like I'm in comedy my sister produces comedy in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
She was like, I know what the fuck's going on.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah. I've heard those stories about the what are they? The store where it's like the couples that they're in a fight. She probably plays like the scorned girlfriend or wife or something that found out she's being cheated on.
Yes.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry to break the fourth wall there, morning radio listeners.
Yeah,
but some of that shit didn't really happen.
Well, most of it, actually. Absolutely most of it. Are you... Actually, I know the answer to it because I snuck back there and looked to see if you had them sitting back there. You're selling the albums and stuff after the shows.
Still selling vinyls. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Dan over at Stand Up, and I've got some really exciting things coming with my first record that I don't want to get into.
Okay.
But some very unique, fun plans.
A way to get it back out there?
Yeah, just, it was always on DVD. I do enough vinyls at this point. I wanted to do something special with that record because it's kind of like my garage days revisited. Like if you're a Metallica,
of course.
Fan, like it's just like it's an older tape that no one really knows about or remembers. So yeah, I think we're just going to put it out in some weird formats.
Okay.
That there's going to be it's going to be. We're doing a Wu-Tang-esque thing with one of the things. So
okay.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, don't give away too much. Well, I definitely, I just, in the last year, got a record player. So now I'm looking for excuses to add to that. So I'm going to buy one of those from you when we're done.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I brought cash. I made sure.
That's what we're here for. Yeah. Cash money.
We're moving merchandise. That's what we're here for. Did you see... I'm not even going to tell you the name right off the bat here.
Okay.
Comedian.
All right.
Did a show.
Yep.
Earlier this week.
Nope. Don't know what you're talking about.
End of story. And got upset.
Oh.
At the crowd.
You said comedian. We're talking about Pete Davidson.
We are.
I think we're using the word comedian very lightly here.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's 6. I understand where he's coming from. About being mad about the cell phones, because you definitely want people to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm. People were at his show, and there's a rule about the cell phones, apparently.
But apparently there weren't.
Okay.
There were no. Most of the kids were like, there were no signs and no announcements that there was no cell phone usage.
Okay.
Which is on the production company. But also it's like there's a better way to go about it. But also I understand that he's young both in his life and in his career. So, like, I've definitely flipped out on people the wrong way, especially during that time of my career.
Okay.
So I get it. It's a learning experience, and it sucks that he's at a place where it makes the news. Because a lot of comics have had a lot worse meltdowns than that. They just weren't famous enough for it to matter.
Oh, I believe that 100%.
So it's like... And also in this era of everything's being recorded, everything's being tweeted, it's like you have to monitor yourself, and you can't lash out like that. But also it doesn't hurt Pete Davidson because it still keeps his name out in the newspapers.
That's interesting. Yeah.
All bad press is good press, and I know artists that go out and try to make waves at certain points in their career. Just to, if they have an album coming out or something like that, they go out and they
just to get people
cause
talking.
A little shit, and then it gets on the news, and now they're selling records.
Yeah,
like don't think that there is no coincidence that Kid Rock ran for Senate or teased that he was going to run for Senate for 7 months. During the same time, he was releasing album, one song a month.
Yeah,
during that very same time. Like, that is not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as the album was released, I'm not running for Senate.
What are you talking about? I wasn't running.
It's just a brilliant way to use the press. Because, I mean, they're in a 24-hour news cycle, so if you do it right, you can just keep feeding the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just they're looking for any gasoline that they can. So it's like, oh, Pete Davidson yelled at some college kids. Oh, Pete Davidson not dating Kate Beckinsale anymore. Like, you just got to keep your name out there.
Yeah.
Especially when you're and it's not because he's not talented, just because he hasn't been doing a lot. He's a marginal comic, as most 26-year-old comics are. Like, it's hard to be relevant when you're still trying to figure out who the fuck you are.
Yeah. How far were you in at 26?
I was doing Last Comic Standing.
Oh, yeah.
But look at those jokes. They're all goofy. I look like Willy Wonka. I can't get laid.
That's right.
Like, I'm not trying to be relevant.
That's right.
And that's the only reason it worked.
Yeah.
When a 26-year-old kid is telling you Trump stuff, like, I don't give a fuck. go get a car loan, and then we can talk.
How do you feel about doing Last Comic Standing this far away from it? You glad you did that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a huge turning point for my career.
Yeah.
It kind of solidified me as a headliner for a time at least. And yeah, I mean, it's a great. You have to look at it for what it is. I mean, it's a game show, but it's also cast a little bit.
Sure.
Like they definitely want their shit starters in there, and then like that legitimate comics and. But you got to make a show. Yeah. But also, it's not rigged. Like it can't be. Like game shows are, they're regulated under law. Like when we would draw names to see who went, it was being recorded, and there was an official monitoring the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
To make sure everything was on the up and up. So now, what happened with like the Drew Carey stuff in the season previous was. They just found him and Brett Butler realized that their votes didn't really count as much as they thought they did.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because they're like, we want these comics, and the producer's like, no, we're going to have these comics, which they're totally allowed to do. They're allowed to cast the show.
Sure.
But once the game stuff starts, it's regulated. And so, yeah, I love doing it. I was very fortunate to be on a season where everyone kind of understood what was going on. Like I know Eliza's season, they didn't really get along. There was a lot of bitterness. I think her and another comic still don't speak because of it. But obviously Eliza's done very well for herself and continues to do so, and as she should. She's an amazing comedian. But Josh and Ty and Roz and Michelle and all those cats, especially during the finals, we would have a big like hug and. Someone would say a prayer. It wasn't my thing, but it was some of their things. So, and I'd be a part of it because we knew it's like, hey, man, we just go out there and do our best, and wherever the cards lay, that's where they lay. Also, we all knew Josh was going to win from night one of the finals because it was like, please welcome Roz, please welcome Michelle, please welcome Chris, please welcome Ty, please welcome Josh. Oh, like the fucking roof almost collapsed. And so you were like, oh, okay. So.
You're talking about Minnesota's own.
We're all
Josh Blue.
Minnesota's own. And couldn't be a cooler guy, a funnier dude, and he totally deserved to win that shit.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say he won the pity vote. Well, he didn't ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
He just got it.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Because he never played, he never fanned it. You know, he never cried like, oh, my arm. It's fucking, he's like, no, man, don't pity me. I'm having a good time.
Have you watched the new Chappelle special?
No, I haven't watched. I watched 15 minutes of one of the ones, and it wasn't. Well, I heard this one's good. I don't watch a lot of stand-up.
No,
not really. I have a few, I have a few favorites that I like. I watched Chad Daniels' special the day it came out.
Oh, it's so good.
I watched Kreischer's special the day it came out. With Dave, he's so prolific. And he made it. He made this deal with Netflix, and it's like, I just to some extent I feel like he's like, I have an hour of material. Let's go ahead and film it. And I don't know how much I don't know. He's just so great. I wish. I don't know. I just don't know how much he refines it, or how much he even cares to really. But like if you watch. Killing Him Softly, it's a solid hour of like, and nothing misses.
Yeah.
And it's because it's refined, and he worked on it for a while.
Yeah.
And like this stuff, it's like you're putting one out every 8 months, every 6 months, and it's like, even as great as you are, like, shouldn't you refine it a little? Don't you owe that to your audience to refine it a little bit? And then maybe it's not as, maybe it just makes it a little more. I mean, because don't get me wrong, everything Dave Chappelle says is usually genius. But like, how much more genius would it be if you took some time to fucking just hammer it out a little bit?
Yeah. How soon after you recorded A Man from Kansas? That was like last August or something, right?
Yeah.
How soon did you drop all that stuff? The next day?
Well, the thing is like you have 6 months in between the time you shoot it in the time that it comes out.
See it, sure.
So you have time to write shit.
Yeah.
And so you kind of phase it out, and you definitely kind of try to write a little quicker, a little more prolifically during that time, so you have a solid, at least half hour, 45 minutes of new stuff that you're working on, and then maybe do 1 or 2 bits from the new one.
Right.
But I don't really have a rule about it, but yeah, I try to have it all. I try to have a new 30 or 40 by the time it actually hits the shelves.
Good,
yeah.
good. We haven't talked yet about the podcast you're doing now. That is new since the last time we talked.
Yeah, well, it's new from 3 months ago.
Yeah.
We're on episode 10, so it's called the 1 millionth podcast because we're the last people to start a podcast, I think, ever.
Who's we?
Me and my sister. And I, it was like one night we were hanging out, and we always make each other laugh and have a good time. And I was like, we should just record this and make it a thing. And because I like hanging out with her, and we have a good time. And so I just thought, worst comes to worst. If it fails, it's not a huge deal. I had done a podcast before where it was just me, and like I'd have to book guests.
Yeah.
And then the guests would bail because they got an audition. So you can't be mad, but you're also like, well, fuck, now I got to fill this. So I knew with Andy, like we shoot it on or record it on Mondays or Sundays, dependent. And, she lives down the street.
Okay.
So, and odds are we were going to hang out anyway. So it's a lot of, and we're having fun with it, but it's basically like a morning radio podcast. We have topics. We talk about what we did that week.
I listened to the most recent one.
Yeah. And it's, we are usually a little stoned and start riffing and have a good time. And
is there? I've only heard the most recent. You doing a smoke break like in the middle or anything?
No, it's usually a thing where, while we're setting up, we'll smoke a bowl, and then I'll usually have like a couple fingers of tequila in front of me.
So here's kind of the format I picked up on.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a third. Here's what we did over the weekend, swapping stories.
Funny stories, yeah.
Funny stories. Then some letters, some emails from listeners.
Listener mail, very much.
And then some kind of like the morning show, kind of like pop culture, like 3, 4, 5 stories.
Yeah, and we try to keep it pretty light. Like, again, you're not going to hear any politics or any shit like that.
Yeah, good.
We just try to keep it light, have a good time. Some for people to listen to on the way to work and stuff, and it's going well. Every week the numbers increased. We're 10 episodes in. We already have a sponsor, and we have another guy. We literally have to just try the product and make sure we like it, and then we'll have 2 sponsors.
Nice. So. If you don't like it, will you still use it?
No.
No?
No, I'm not going to sell stuff. Because we're not doing it for that.
Yeah, good.
We're just doing it to have a good time so you can have a little more integrity to it.
Do you remember that episode of Cheers when Woody's drinking that kelp drink?
No.
Like, oh, it's terrible. Remember he was an actor on the show, and they're hiring him to do a commercial for this, I don't know, some sort of vitamin drink or protein drink, and he's like, it's terrible. Always makes me think of that.
No, especially this early on in the podcast where you're trying to grow loyalty. You don't want to turn them the wrong direction.
Yeah. Your sister's really funny.
She's very funny, and that's why she's on the podcast.
Yeah. Her laugh is great.
She's got a cackle.
She has a great laugh.
Yeah. She's good people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she can be a dick sometimes, but what sister can't?
Yeah, right? Have you always been close to her?
Yeah. When she became a person, we're 7.5 years apart.
Okay.
So, when I was 18, she was 11, so we weren't real close then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was always very protective of her and made sure she was taken care of. But, it wasn't until she was 14 or 15 where I was like, okay, now we can be friends.
Right.
And then...
Did you say 7.5 years?
Yeah.
That's what me and my sister are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Like, we didn't go to the same school. We didn't even go to the same school district.
Oh.
Or same school system, for that matter. She went to Catholic school. I went to public school. So, we never had that, like, competition.
Yeah.
She feels some sort of competition with me, she said, but I don't feel it with her at all. I'm just like, do you? I'm glad for all of your successes.
Yeah.
And go America.
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah.
I definitely had that too.
Are you the older one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly the same.
So it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember, like I left for college and she was just going to start, 7th grade or something.
You're just like, yeah, go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to talk to you about right now.
Basically.
You're just kind of annoying, and yet we like the same cartoons.
We watched the Wonder Years together.
For sure.
That was our thing. We'll watch the Wonder Years together. Let's talk. We can't do a podcast without talking a little sports.
Okay.
I'm wearing my Twins t-shirt.
I'm wearing a Royals t-shirt.
You're wearing your Royals t-shirts.
Yeah. We're on opposite sides of the league today.
That's for sure.
Or the division, at least.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, the Royals not in last place.
We're not. But, in any other division, if it weren't for the Tigers, we'd be in last place.
Right.
So
how you feeling this year?
It's all part of the rebuild. When you're a small market team, it's a lot of heartbreak followed by a couple of years of maybe. And there's definitely some talent on our team. None of it is in the bullpen, but we have some really good young talent, especially in the lineup with O'Hearn and Gallagher. Well, not Gallagher so much, but Dozier and Lopez. And we got a bunch of young guys, and they finally got what's his face, Bubba Starling, the local phenom that's been in the minors. I think he's like 47, but they finally moved him up to the league. And he's having a good year.
Is that the guy the locals have already been like, what are we waiting for?
Oh, no, it was just more like he struggled for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then he finally got better. And then it was like, well, we might as well bring him up. We already suck. Like, it's been the kind of year where the other night Alex Gordon pitched.
Those are my favorite nights, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, we were down by like 12, and they're like, yeah, go ahead and let Gordo pitch. Mm-hmm. He gave up 4 runs.
Yeah, I love finding out the guy who's going to, be the one called in to do 65-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, that's when they're just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Uh-huh.
Can we get this kid in?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's part of it. You hope next year. It sounds like we're going to get sold.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which is fine. Our owner now's not real great. And, I mean, granted, he got us a World Series. I don't know how much of that was actually his doing, or most of it was Dayton Moore. God bless him. But I think the new owner, he's from Kansas City. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think he'll spend some money and, bring us back to glory at least for another year or two.
Right on. Have you gone to any games this year?
I've been to a bunch of games this year. I actually got to see them play the Yankees both at Yankee Stadium and Royal Stadium.
Wow, nice.
So that was kind of cool. And then went to a couple other games while I've been back and forth. So, yeah, I always make sure to catch it. I don't think they've won a single game I've been to this year. But
just a strange coincidence.
But still have a great time.
Have you been over to Target Field?
No, and it's only because every time I've been here, they've been out of town.
Like they are this week.
Through
the weekend.
I go, let me just see if there's a day game. And I was like, there is in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
Right now.
Yeah.
As we're talking, they're playing. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, and I was going to fly over there, but I had to do this podcast.
Right. I appreciate you skipping that one.
No worries.
Hang on with me. Well, better success recently with your Chiefs.
Yeah. But, I don't get my hopes up. They've broken my heart too many times. I mean, I've made this analogy before, but they're like your ex-girlfriend with drug problems. They always come back going, we're better. This is the year. And then fucking nope. But Mahomes is an amazing talent.
Have you met him?
No, haven't met him. But he's an amazing talent. He's he could be a game changer. Like one of those guys.
I love the picture that was going around last season with when his dad was a pitcher for the Twins.
Yeah,
and he's holding little tiny Patrick in his little Twins jersey. I just love that.
And so but no, this season should be fun. I didn't pick him up in many of my fantasy leagues, but that's because my family doesn't know how to draft properly. You get these family leagues, and they're drafting quarterbacks first round. You're like, all right.
We had I'm in one league. We had a draft last Sunday.
Yeah.
I spoke up and saved a guy when he was about to draft his 3rd quarterback in a row. In a row! First of all, no one has 3 quarterbacks.
No.
And and even if you did, how would you screw up and do it 3 in a row? I said, I go, you need 3 quarterbacks? And he went, I don't have 3 quarterbacks.
Fuck, you don't.
I go, read back your list. It was the last.
No,
three.
Roethlisberger's a wideout.
Yeah, right.
Everyone knows that.
It is a guy that's finished last the 4 years he's been playing with us, so I shouldn't have been that surprised.
I got 3 quarterbacks and 7 kickers.
Yeah, right. Are you familiar with that website Cameo?
Yes, I am. I'm not a part of it.
Have they contacted you?
I actually. Sorry.
You got an important message there?
Yes, I'm in the Comedy Store original room on Sunday at 10:45.
Nice.
I think they contacted me very early on, and I was like, no one wants to hear from me, so
Okay.
I just let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm still of that opinion.
Have you ever gone to the site and looked at it?
No.
Did you know? Because I have. I have this weird fascination with them. I love seeing the names that pop up on there.
For sure.
Did you know that there are Kansas City Royals and Chiefs on
Oh,
their
yeah,
site?
my sister hired one of them to do a fantasy football thing.
I might have watched it. Are you kidding me? Which one?
I don't know. But she goes, good luck to everyone except Danny, who sucks. And even the guy, when he says it, he's laughing. So
Who did she hire? A former chief?
it was a current chief, but I don't know who it is.
I'll give you the name. So yeah, there's a Mitchell Schwartz.
Yeah,
$50 he charges. Dante Hall.
yeah.
We know who he is.
But not a chief anymore.
No, retired, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, $100 to have him. Christian Okoye.
Okoye, the Nigerian
Pardon me.
Nightmare.
Yes, Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare.
How much is that?
$85.
That's not bad.
Not bad. Now, do you know who this is? And maybe this is the person you hired. Gracie Hunt.
No.
Do you know who that is?
I think it's one of the owners, right?
It's the daughter of
the owner. Yeah.
She's some sort of social media influencer.
So what's that, like $300?
She's blonde and pretty.
Yeah.
25.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Now, this is the one I'm guessing that you guys used for your deal. Oh, you said it was a Chief, but this is under the Kansas City Chiefs umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Superfan X Factor. Do you know who that is?
Is that the guy with all the arrows?
He's the guy. It looks like, I'm looking at a picture of him. It looks like he's wearing, the arrowhead on his head that says X Factor. He's got a bunch of necklaces.
No. The guy that I'm thinking of wears the other team's jersey with a bunch of arrows through it.
Oh, nope, not that guy.
Not that guy.
Nope, this is some other fella. I watched a few of his videos the other night. He charges $15, which is one of the lowest on the site.
Maybe I should try it. Maybe I should just do it.
Oh, you don't need $15, huh?
I mean, I don't need it, but I could use it.
Right?
I'm sure I could do something with it.
So I was looking through these last night, and I noticed that there were quite a few posted in the last month that were shit-talking fantasy football videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you guys did that. Yeah, X Factor. And then there's some Royals, maybe former. Drew Butera.
Yep.
Former Twin as well, Drew Butera. $30.
Also Trump supporter, Drew Butera.
Didn't know that.
Very, very Trumpy.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah.
I'll mention one more.
The hatred keeps his hair in place.
He does have perfect hair, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Oh, that's so we got Alcides Escobar.
Alcides.
Yeah. And Whit Merrifield.
Whit Merrifield is a current Royal.
He is.
And he's actually possibly one of the most talented baseball players playing right now.
Yeah, great hitter.
He can play and literally play anywhere.
Yeah. Has he pitched this year?
No, but I'm sure he's warming up for later this season.
$100 for Whit.
Yeah, that's about right. When you're leading the league in hits.
Oh, I love that.
That's worth a C note.
Mm-hmm. So Cameo. I'm a big fan. I've never spent money there.
Yeah.
But I love checking it out. What is there any other stuff we should be mentioning here?
No, we got the podcast. We got the new special. I'm not on Cameo, but I'm thinking about it. And
you will accept money.
Yeah, if you just want to send money, that's fine.
Venmo me, brah.
I have an Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I see this one's going viral. If you want to check out my wish list.
I would not. I don't get, like, if someone sent me a gift, I would be freaked the fuck out.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks.
Like, no, thank you.
Uh-huh.
They want to send the podcast stuff, and we're like, oh, we're going to get a P.O. box. You people don't need to know where we live.
Right. In the next county.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, got more shows here this week?
Yeah, I got 1 tonight, 2 tomorrow, 2 Saturday, and then I'm out of here.
And you're selling the merch after the shows?
Got all the records. They'll be available, and then next month I'm interviewing Shinedown in New York City. That's the next big thing that's coming up.
How will people see that?
You have to be there. Excuse me. 3, 2, 1, edit. It's at 92Y. It's a YMCA on 92nd Street. It's been there for about 145 years. They have a series of talks that they've given. Anyway, they contacted Shinedown about doing an interview and performance, and Shinedown requested that I do the interview because we're already good friends, and they just thought it would be best if we already had a rapport to turn it into more of a conversation, really. So I think it's going to be a fun night where, we sit down with the band and get to know some things, and then the band does like an intimate performance. It's everybody but the drummer, so it'll be very acoustic. And then, it'll be a good time.
Very cool. I just have one more thing. I'm looking at my notes here, something I want to bring up to you. And it's along the lines, actually, I can tie this in with a podcast sponsor.
Okay.
There's a baseball player. Now, he wasn't a Royal, wasn't a Twin.
That I have no use for. No, okay, good.
The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas.
He's doing those commercials now.
For Nugenics.
Yes. For
selling dick pills.
Selling dick pills.
Yeah. Well.
Where basically the commercial's like, hey, pussy.
Yeah, it's like a testosterone supplement. From a guy that's turned 40, I've had to start taking a testosterone supplement. It's just, your body. I mean, I understand there's a need for it. I wish they had approached it a little. Listen, I also understand most guys think with their dicks. So if you want to sell a product, you just go, hey, let's make your dick work. And they're like, I'm on it.
Mm-hmm. Dick magic.
But also, that stuff's good just for, your energy level, and it keeps you a little bit thinner. I mean, you can't just take testosterone and sit on your fat ass. You still got to work out and stuff.
Right.
But
I'm on these diet pills. They're fantastic.
Oh, my step-grandma used to pump my grandpa full of just fucking amphetamines and watch him sit on the couch and just shake.
I was going to say.
Just fucking.
Honey, calm down.
I'm definitely a proponent of, from a guy who fucking didn't know he needed it to needed it and then took it, and now, like, it's definitely life-changing.
No shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about I don't take Nugenics, but I take a testosterone supplement.
Really?
An estrogen blocker, because when your testosterone levels rise, this isn't funny in the least, but both levels will rise, so you kind of got to keep one down so you don't get man boobs. But I've definitely noticed a difference in the gym. I haven't been in the sex lab in a month or so we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, man, it's definitely something worth, and again, I don't know if I want to be doing fucking testosterone ads, but
okay.
I definitely get it.
That wasn't the company that brought you. I got to check these out first.
No. Me and my sister. I'm like, you got a boner? I got a boner. All right, good. Take these.
Works for guys and gals.
She's all chubbed up over there.
Chris, this has been great.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I had a good time.
Thank you. Let's do it again in sometime next
14
year.
14 months.
There we go. Thank you.